Hey guys, very good afternoon to all of you. Welcome to the video number 373. I welcome all of you to this channel, and this video actually specifically will talk about how to paste the pivot table data, in the body of the Outlook email, right? So we're gonna make the Excel VBA program, and before you watch this video, I want to tell you that we have already actually talked about this in a different form actually, how to use the Excel tables as a range. So what you need to do is you need to go to the playlist Excel VBA connecting Outlook from Excel. Now on this channel you will find 44 different playlists dedicated to all those Excel lovers, Excel VBA lovers, Access lovers, and Access VBA lovers, in case you're watching the channel for the first time, right? And we have the videos for the beginners, we have the videos for the advanced users as well. So when you click here, you can see here we have got now 30 amazing videos, 30 different videos on the Outlook part, guys. Thanks to your questions. Every time you ask me a question, I find it so unique, right? So we have 30 videos. You can go through all these videos one by one. I've talked about the Outlook only here, how to control the Outlook, sometimes how to control the folders, how to save the attachments, how to draft the emails, how to skip the unread items, how to skip the read items. There are a lot of emails, how to send the emails every hour, every monthly. You will see here everything. Recently I have uploaded 2 new videos, which is how to add the Outlook signature. This is a very good video for those who actually are working on the different multiple, who work with the different clients, and every time when you send the email, manually you insert the new signatures, because for the client A your signature may differ, and for the client B your signature may differ. So you can automate this, by watching this video. This is the recent video I uploaded, 372, where I talked about how to paste the Excel range in the Outlook body. Many of you have actually written me the emails and posted the comments on the YouTube, so I actually try to help you out there by uploading this video. Now in this video today, what we are actually going to do different is I have got this email from Devendra. Hi Ajay, first of all thanks for your wonderful videos on YouTube channel, which are really helpful. Thank you so much. I'm glad that you're liking the videos, you're liking my work actually. Keep posting your comments. I would appreciate if you can also comment out on the channels, because emails sometimes can be skipped, but I'm very active on my YouTube channel, right? So could you please post a video on the VBA macro to send the pivot table report in the email? Attach an email, the macro should generate referred sample email. So I actually have got your file. This is the file which you have forwarded me, report 1. This is the pivot basically you have created. There is a problem in this pivot, and the problem is that this is not really a good design, because you see you don't have a header. First of all, it says row label, and even if I try to ignore this particular piece, in the months are falling just below your the item A, B, E, F, whatever it is, and it's not giving the good look, right? So what I have done is, if you look at this Excel file, I have actually changed the order. Now this looks perfect, right? So what I have done 2 things, very simple. On your pivot, simply went to the design and I said report layout in the tabular form. When you click on the tabular form, all the headers will be inserted in the proper order. So you have now name here, and date is not coming below, it's coming the right side. And then I actually have chosen a template from here in the design. Any color you can choose, guys, maybe any color. That's all up to you. You want to actually go with that, right? That's what I have done, and I have actually increased a little bit of the width as well. Now what is this another thing? Now next thing, proper code we want to do is, now guys, first of all I want to copy this code and I want to paste this code in a different workbook, and then from that different workbook, what I will do, I will create the HTML page which will have an extension called .html, hypertext markup language. This is a language which you this is what you use in designing the web pages. I'm not an expert in the web designing, but I know the HTML. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to create a page which would look like a Google page or Internet Explorer, which will be empty, and then we will export that table this entire range into that page, and from that page then we will actually go ahead and put it in the Outlook part. So basically we have three jobs to do. One is to copy this entire stuff and to paste it into the new workbook. The second job would be to create an HTML page and then to export this table, this range in that HTML page. And the third step, after exporting it in that table, we will simply open the Outlook and we will use the .html body of that mail item. We will put that in the body of the email. So three categories, three basically the steps we have to follow. Now to do that, guys, you need to go to the tools and the reference and ensure that you should be actually on the Microsoft Outlook library and scripting runtime. These two libraries you must have on your VBA code, right? In case if you're new to the VBA, what you need to do, you need to press M and just find it out where is the Microsoft Outlook 16.0 and where is the Microsoft scripting runtime library. They are all alphabetically sorted, so you will not find any problem. 16.0 you don't have to find. I mean, I'm using the Outlook 2016. That is why it is showing me 16.0. In your case it might be different if you are working on the different version. Okay, so first of all let us go ahead and paste pivot as a range. So the first step which I want to actually do is I want to write the comment here, let us paste the range. Okay, now in order to do that, what I will do is I will simply record a macro which will select this entire pivot. I can also write like simply by selecting this A1 to C15, but in that case what will happen, I mean if you just do that, then when you're just going to copy this and when you're going to paste it in a new workbook, for example over here, when I paste this, chances are there that this formatting will be will lose the formatting, okay, in the VBA when you write the program. So what I'm going to do is I'm simply going to select this pivot, and also for the fact that, guys, this pivot in the future may expand. So every time you are going to edit the range. So before we do that, let us select the entire pivot. So let's go to the developer tab and record the macro. I record the macro. What you need to do is on the macro, just go to the design and on the analyze. Actually I'm using 2016, so you see here analyze, but in your case I think it's layout if you're using any previous version. But the ribbon part is it looks the same way, so you need to click on the select entire pivot. That's what we want to do. I'm going to copy this and then I'm going to just go somewhere and I'm just going to paste it like this. Okay, so I stop the macro now. I stop the macro and this I don't need it, so let me delete that. Now let's go to the Visual Basic, and this is the module 2 where you have this macro created. So I just copy this and I'm going to paste it here. Okay, before you do that, you got to be on the sheet, correct sheet. So I'm going to write the sheet 5. This is my sheet 5. I select the sheet. Okay, now once you select the sheet, the next thing you want to do, the pivot table 2 is, remember, if you have multiple pivots, then you have to change the code, because right now this is a pivot table 2. If you have any other table, it might be pivot table 3, 4, whatever. So please ensure that this name should be changed accordingly. So now once you have copied this, what you want to do is well, I just want to paste it, but I don't want to paste it on the I12. I want to add the workbook, so I'm going to add here a workbook.add, and then on that actually the workbook I want to actually paste that data, right? This is what we need to actually do. After doing that, what we will do is we are actually going to define a variable which I'm going to write here, dim new WP as workbook, and then set new WP equals to I'm going to define that the new workbook as active workbook. So what will happen, whatever the workbook you will insert using this line, this is going to add new Excel file. Okay, add or create, I would say, it's one and the same thing. Okay, so for that new actually Excel workbook is going to be treated as your new WP, right? So once you have that data pasted, what is the next thing you want to do is the next thing which we want to do is we actually want to create we want to create an HTML page. So here I'm going to write here my second line, which is let us create the HTML page. Okay, HTML files are also actually treated as the text files. Remember that, right? That is why we're going to actually use the file system object handling now. Just a second, I just want to put it apostrophe in the first letter. So now we will write FSO as file system scripting file system object. Okay, and then you write FSO equals to new file system object. Now for those who are wondering that what I'm writing, FSO file system object is a class which we use to deal with the creating the HTML document, or maybe using the Excel VBA, of course, or using the text files, or whenever you want to work with the folders. Okay, if you don't have any information about it, not a problem, you can go to the channel, and here in my channel there is the playlist which talks about that, which is the name of that is Excel VBA file handling. When you click on this Excel VBA file handling, you will see here all these 10 videos, and you can watch how to work with the text files using the loops in the text files, how to change the text file data, how to import the data from many text files. So there are a lot of stuff, guys. Okay, you can go there, it will give you a very good understanding because they are all the basic videos, especially on the text files. So now what we will do is once we have done that, I'm going to actually create a text file. So I'll write create my text file. I'm going to name it as C:, and then I'm going to write here slash users. So I'm going to create it actually on my desktop, and this is my the Acer is my username. You can also use the environment function here. You can watch that 372 video. I talked about that. I mean, every machine has it's a different username. You may have a different username. So if you use the environment function, it will give you that perfect. It is going to capture your username. Right now, I'll just write like this. So desktop. So I just write here what the page which I want to create is. Let's say it's going to be test.html. I provide this extension, guys. Okay, and I close the bracket. So this should insert the test.html page on my desktop. I'll show you, right? So once that the page is created, once that that HTML document is created, now what is the next thing we want to do is I'll pick up my new workbook file, and then I will publish objects, and I'm going to add these all things. One is the Excel as range, okay, and the file name. So what is your file name? So basically your file name is this. File name means that whatever document you have, that HTML, if it is on the server, you can write the server name as well with that, the HTML file name. So this is what I'm doing. It is on my desktop right now, and then you can write the comma. And what is the sheet name? So your sheet name actually is going to be the sheet 1, obviously, because whenever you insert new workbook, the name of the by default the sheet is always sheet 1. Okay, and what is the source now? So the source I'm going to write is the new workbook, and the sheets, this is how you write, and the index of the sheet is going to be 1, obviously. Then you write here use range dot address, so it will capture the address automatically of that new sheet, right? What is the HTML type? So I'm going to make it Excel HTML static. There are 3 other versions as well which are dynamic, but we're not going to use that. Keep it simple, which is static. Dot publish, and then write the true. So this is the syntax, guys, which you should understand, right? We are pasting the source as a range, and then where we're going to actually pasting, we're going to add it, export it, whatever you want to call it, in this document, this HTML page. And from where, from the sheet which will be we're going to insert new workbook, and on that new workbook, whatever that range, it would come. So this used range address actually will give you even to C15 of that, the new workbook file. Automatically it will capture that. Right? So this is done. Now let us go ahead and first of all see if the code is going to work or not. I'm going to hit on the F8. There we go. You see that in the background it has selected the entire data. It's selected. This is copied as well. Very nice. The workbook added, and I'm going to paste the data here. Right? Now I leave it to you if you just in case want to always expand this columns in the headers, you can record the macro and you can see I'm in column B, column C, width. You can increase it and you can put those lines here. That's not the problem after pasting the data. Okay, but I'm not going to do that. Set new workbook as active workbook. So new workbook will be referred as book 13, which because book 13 right now is added. Now this is the important line. .html should be created here. Now it should be created. It should have been created. Let us go back to the desktop and see. So you look at this, guys. This is the page test.html is created. Right now, if I just open it, let me see if I can open it. It is going to be a blank, right? But this is the web page which we have created, right? HTML actually, this language people use in creating their websites. It's a very basic thing which you're supposed to know if you want to be a web designer. Right now, you see that this is on my machine. That's why it says file / and the address of my obviously desktop. It is entirely blank. Now, what is the next thing I want to do? I close this. And then I come back to the code. Now this is very important line. This line should actually publish my range, which is this range, which range? This one, guys. This range from A1 to C15, right? If you're wondering that where we have written A1 to B15, then I'll show you. Basically, this new workbook .sheets1, this is the sheet number 1. Use range .address will automatically capture this A1 to C15. You can put the message box also in the separate, and it's gonna tell you. Or maybe if I can show you, let me just select this and put the watch code. If I can show you, it says that empty watch expression. So that means it is not working, right? Anyways, let me check that. Okay, I run this. Oh, it is working actually. Maybe I did some select. I did something wrong in the selection. Let me just do that again. Put the watch. Yeah, that's it. You can see here it has picked the A1 to C15, right? So this A1 to C15 is what we need, and this is now exported. So I just go ahead and reset the code. Now let's go back to the code and let me see here. Let me open the test.html again. Wow, amazing. You can see here the data is actually exported here, right? So it's the same thing actually I did in the last video as well, but this time it is the pivot. So the pivot, we are selecting the pivot table. That is the most important thing. Now once you have done that, what you need to do, so let's come to the last part, which is the outlook part. So here outlook part will begin. Okay, so we're going to create the outlook part. So I'll quickly go and create the outlook object, which is outlook.application, and then set o equals to new outlook.application. Then you're going to define your mail item, o mail object. Another, we are going to create this outlook mail item, and then set o mail equals to we're going to write o.create item ol mail item. Now ol mail item, I'm using this mail item class because I want to actually send out the emails. Now I actually, I'm going a little fast here because if you're following the channel, then as I shown you earlier, we have 30 videos on Outlook, guys. So I have explained these all codes, in all those 30 videos, right? But still, if you don't have any idea, this O basically is now your object, which is considered as Outlook, and this is the O mail going to be considered as O mail. Why we are using this dot mail item? Because of the reason we want to send out the email, we want to draft the email. That's why we're using this class, because this class is actually in the VBA. This class is in the Outlook VBA. This class is made for the users, for us to give us the help in coding whenever we actually need to send out the emails, whenever we need to work with the emails. It's not always about the sending the email, but just in case, even if you want to look through the emails and you want to find out some particular sender name or subject name, whatever, right? So as long as the email comes into action, this class can be used. So what is the next thing I want to do? The next thing I simply want to do HTML body. I'm not going to use to and cc, right? They are all discussed in my previous videos. I'll simply give you the code of the HTML body. So now here we will write hello. For example, I'm going to write hello, and after that I go and write the break code, which is the HTML code. This is how you write br, so that I should be on the next line, and then the next line, this is what you need to write. You write the table, and then you write the align, where you want to align that. You want to align that left, because if you remember, when I opened that page, the web page test.html, the table was inserted in the center, so I want to actually keep it in the left, right? So that is why I'm actually writing this. Just close these quotes here. Table, actually I'm writing table is actually, guys, HTML word, right? So whenever you see the websites, whenever you see, on the right side there is something, on the left side there is something coming, and there is in the center also of the web page, of any web page, there is something coming. Basically they are all the tables, right? So this is what we need to do. Now here I'm going to create a variable which is read all. Let us just create that. I forgot to do that, but first of all let me write the complete code. So backslash we will write to end the code. Like in the VBA you write enter with every sub. In the HTML, whenever you start any code with anything, especially the tables, just write like this, backslash with the sign of less than and greater than. Now this is done, and I'm actually just want to join this as well. Yeah, that's your code now. Now one thing we need to do is, I want to declare this read all as variant, because here I will store my text file. Now what we need to do is, we have already created the text file .test, test HTML. After we created the this text file, or I would say the HTML document, we exported our table inside it, right? Your actually test.html has the data. Now what you want to do is, you want to actually read that data. So what we will do is, here after reading it, after creating that HTML document, I will write here read all, or maybe you can write here in this particular before you set this, you can write here read all, which is your just a variable, nothing else. And then you're going to write here the file. What is your now file? Your file name actually is, you have to write the file name. So what you're gonna do is, I'm going to actually create a file which should refer to this file which you have created. So here what we will do, I will first get that my file opened, and I'm gonna write here dim my file, the HTML document, because we want to open it. Right now it is only created, right? So in order to read it, in order to read the content inside it, we'll have to open that HTML document. So I'm going to use this the file system object library again, and sorry, not the file system object, but the scripting library actually, and then you're going to use the text stream. Okay, so here you will write that my file equals to set my file actually equals to, and then you use the that fso dot open the text file. Which text file? I'm just going to copy this path. You can create the variables as well for these paths, that's fine. So you just go ahead and write like this. Now what we will do, we will write here my file dot read all. This is what will happen. So now read all will have all the information, and that's what we're going to write here. And then finally we will write here display. That's it, guys, right? So maybe you can do one thing after you publish everything. I think before the Outlook, you can cut these lines, you can put there. I think that's gonna make a lot of sense. That's all up to you. I mean, it should work in all the way. All these, whatever the methods you're going to actually apply. So I just cut this, and I'm gonna put it here. Declare this here, and this line also we should declare it here. Okay, so that's it, and yeah, I think we are good to go with this. Okay, so let us go ahead and run the code step by step. Of course I will show you so that you can understand the code. And one more thing, once it is done, you would like to close the file, which is your my file, so that HTML document should close in the memory, and then we're going to kill that. Then paste the path there, right? This is the path, sorry, not this path actually. The path, this complete with the test.html address. So we're gonna write it like this, right? To ensure that the next time the code runs, it should create a new HTML with the same name. So that's why we are actually going to delete that. So this is how your code actually looks like, guys. Okay, let me just put some Yeah, there we go. So let us go ahead and run the code, and this is the pivot. So we're going to select that. Now the pivot table 2, remember the pivot table 2 because this has a pivot table name 2, right? So it is selected and we're going to paste it in the new workbook. Perfect. And now let me just close that. So using the macro also you can increase the width of this. Okay, do that because then otherwise your snapshot will not look good. So that I leave it to you. Now this is going to create the text file called test file. HTML is created in the on my desktop. Now this should export the data. As you can see, must have now. This is going to open the file which you will not see. Okay, in the memory it is open, and if you see this read all variable, it shows empty. But the moment I run this, you see that it is actually showing you some kind of a code, HTML, XLMN, and then the schema Microsoft .com-com, right? So basically it's actually working. It's capturing the data, right? Whatever the data you have in that web page, HTML, test.html, right? So we are done with this. Now let's run the rest of the part. So I'm gonna do that. This will now set up the Outlook application. That's why it takes a little time. That's it. Now this should be aligned to the left part. All right, so we have some problem here, guys. What is the problem? Object variable or with object not set. Okay, so I have to see that what is wrong actually with this. This read all is declared as an variant, and we have the table aligned to the left. I think everything is looking fine. So what is all right? My mistake. Look at this, guys. Actually, this should be your mail, right? Let me run this. It's a spelling mistake actually, and why it was not able to capture that, because I think I haven't written the option explicit actually. That's a very bad code. I should have written here option explicit, because I hope you know this. What is the use of the option explicit? I have talked about this in one of my video as well. Excel VBA access interview. Option explicit never allows you to create anything which is allow you to use anything which is not declared. Now, for example, this was a typo mistake. This was the original code. Now, if I would have put the option explicit on the top and I would have run this code, see what would have happened. Look at this, guys. This is so powerful. This is the additional tip now I'm giving you in this video. Variable not defined. It immediately checks that, look boy, you're using something which I don't understand, because OMIL is nowhere. So how can you use it using the set word, right? So definitely immediately it pushes you to correct the errors as far as the variables are concerned. So that's why always use the option explicit. You don't have to write it on the top. If you just go to the tools and in the options, you just need to check mark that auto syntax. If you have never actually programmed, or if you never use this option, by default this remains unchecked, and I think Microsoft should work on that, because to me I think by default it should always be check marked. Okay. So now we're gonna run the code quickly. So I'll just run the code. Look at this, guys. It is working nice, and here we go. Now the code ran, and let us see what we have in the display. Look at this. So you have your actually on the table pasted, right? So this table is pasted. Now you see that after the hello there is a blank line, and the target met and everything is coming after this hello line. The subject, CC, BCC, whatever you want to create, you can create that. You can actually send the pivot in the form of the snapshot. Now of course you can also add the attachment here. Before you display that, you can write here .attachments.add. Then you can add the workbook. Now which workbook you want to. Sorry, the file's just actually closed. So anyways, so that's it, guys. That's it for now. I hope I was able to explain you the code properly, and any questions, any comments, please feel free to give your suggestions, and we will be discussing something more very soon. Thank you so much for watching.